Sawadee krap, welcome to the Thaiger and Thailand News Today, middle of the week, plenty to talk about. Now, why am I in our old Phuket office? It's not quite empty, all those rooms over there are actually being used, although this open area is open indeed. Sounds a bit like I'm recording today's program in a toilet. I am here for a reason, and you'll find out how that's going to affect our YouTube channel on the Thaiger very soon. A shout out and a big thank you to Craig Douglas. Thank you for being one of our Thaiger legends. We appreciate you being part of the team. Let's get started. Plans to create a new national airline to replace the struggling Thai Airways are meeting opposition from the National Airlines Employees Union. The union insists that Thai Airways is a known brand worldwide and has contributed significantly to the economy of Thailand and deserves aid and rehabilitation. They may have forgotten the billions of taxpayer baht used to bail out the airline over the past decade. Well, Thailand's flagship airline spent years as a state-owned equity until the government reduced its majority stake to less than 50% last year. The finance minister says they are not discussing taking over Thai Airways as a government-owned carrier again, so the future of the airline will depend on the current long list of creditors. The airline is still seeking assistance through the Central Bankruptcy Court to help with the over 300 billion baht of debt hanging over its head. The Bankruptcy Court has talked about ditching the old airline and building a fresh new airline using some of the past infrastructure, but with new competitive contracts and business practices. But the union argues that pulling the plug on Thai Airways and forming a new national airline would be counterproductive, as the airline industry during the pandemic would not allow a new company to thrive. Phuket's resident foreigners are being called out again over their alleged failures to comply with COVID-19 safety measures. A meeting comprising of high-ranking Phuket officials and a majority of consuls and foreign government representatives decided that those who are not being socially responsible will face legal actions, with the most intransigent being kicked out of Thailand. The meeting yesterday was all about discussing ways to prevent the spread of the virus for foreign tourists living in Phuket. 14 consul representatives were at the meeting. Participants were given the opportunity to express their opinions and make recommendations. They were basically told that foreigners would have to take on all the same responsibilities as local Thais, comply with the regulations and go to field hospital if they were found to test positive for the coronavirus. For their part, the local consuls asked about their citizens being able to access the current rollout of vaccines. Officials confirmed yesterday that expats in Phuket would be included and receive COVID-19 vaccines as part of the Thai government's vaccination scheme. A doctor from Washira Hospital made the announcement and said that the first 100,000 doses are earmarked for registered residents and people from other provinces that work in tourism. But the following batch will be open to other industries as well as foreigners. 2012 new COVID-19 infections and 15 coronavirus-related deaths have been reported today, a somewhat stabilising of the situation over the past days. Over the past month, more than 32,000 new infections have been reported. 695 patients are currently listed in critical condition, with 199 of those patients on ventilators. Numerous clusters have been linked to bars and nightclubs in Bangkok, and since the start of April, more than 10,000 cases have been reported in the capital, leading to overcrowded hospitals and limited beds in ICU. More than half of the COVID-related deaths this month are people over 60 years old who have pre-existing conditions, although a number of recent deaths have been young adults who were diagnosed with diabetes or obesity. As many flee Myanmar to escape violence following the February military coup, Thai border patrols have arrested 60 Burmese migrants yesterday for crossing the Thai-Myanmar border illegally into Kanchanaburi. Another 52 migrants in the province were arrested on Monday. Officers suspect many are filtering across the border into Thailand looking for work. The migrants were charged with illegal entry as well as violating emergency orders and the Communicable Diseases Act. Yesterday, most of the migrants were caught hiding in a forest by the Thai Army's Lat Ya task force. Apparently, the migrants had walked for 7 days. They told officials they walked through natural paths from Myanmar's city of Dawei to the Thai border. They told officers that they'd paid Burmese job brokers up to 20,000 baht each to set them up with work in Thailand, and then told the migrants to wait in the forest to be picked up. They say they were set to work in Nakhon Pathom, Ratchaburi, Samut Sakhon and Bangkok. In an effort to suppress drug trafficking during the COVID-19 pandemic, police are cracking down on 3 suspected networks in northern Thailand, including one linked to a local politician who's now on the run. In the busts, police confiscated assets valued at a total of 30 million baht. Police are still investigating drug cases linked to the head of a Tambon administrative organisation in Tak, a province bordering Myanmar. The sub-district chief is allegedly tied to drug cases dating back many years, and a warrant's now out for his arrest. In another bust in Pit Sanulok, officers arrested a 20-year-old man for allegedly selling illicit drugs through a Facebook page. Police say at least 20 million baht had been transferred to the man's bank account, and he didn't have any explanation for the source of the money. In the third crackdown, police seized assets valued at 2 million baht from a drug suspect in Sukhothai. Thailand's Commerce Minister is preparing to hold urgent talks with Myanmar following the news that Burmese officials are planning a ban on the import of Thai soft drinks over land. The reason for the ban is not known, with Burmese officials insisting only imports via ship will be allowed. This ramps up the cost for Thai businesses and is believed to be the result of ongoing political unrest in the neighbouring country. From May the 1st, Myanmar is expected to implement a ban on Thai drink imports via land, understood to be worth around 10 billion baht a year. The ban would affect all soft drinks, including sweetened condensed milk and instant coffee, which will only be permitted in Myanmar via ship. Thai trade officials say they're asking Burmese officials to reconsider the ban, pointing out that Thailand has also imported large volumes of goods from Myanmar, but the value of such imports remains low while transportation is affected by the ongoing unrest. Thank you for joining us in our fairly empty and vacuous old Phuket office. More about what I'm doing here in the next few days. Jet's going to be around tomorrow with Thailand News Today, but we do appreciate you sticking around. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That is really valued by us and helps the channel too. Not a big thing to ask. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.